Chapter 4.2 Addition and Subtraction of Decimals. Okay, when you add and subtract decimals, the operation is you can perform this similar to exactly same as adding and subtracting whole numbers. So the only difference is when you add or subtract, align the decimal point in a vertical line. Okay, that's the only difference. So for example, okay, find the sum of these four numbers. So first we need to write these numbers vertically and then align the numbers so that the decimal points are in the same column. So 0.64 and next number is 8.731. So make sure align the decimal point. And then so once you finish arranging the numbers vertically by placing the decimal points on a vertical line, then add each column from the right. So look at this. If there's nothing means zero, right? Zero. So nothing means zero. So you don't have to put zeros. It's not required. You don't have to. I just want to show you adding numbers in each column. So the last column is the sum of the last column is 1, and the next column is 3, and the next one is 4 plus 1 is 5, and the 10th digit is 6 plus 7 15 plus 9 24, and 2 up, right? 2 up. So 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. And 1 up. So 1 plus 1 is 2. And then finally, make sure to write the decimal point vertically as it is. Alright, so the answer will be 27.4531. Simple, isn't it? So write the number vertically and make sure the decimal points aligns in the same column. Okay, then try out next one. Okay, sorry, there was a mistake. Okay, the number is 8.7131. 8.7131. And when you add these tens, 6 plus 7 is 13. 13 plus 9 is 22, right? So this should be 22. And then 2 up, and so that we have this number. All right, then let's try next one. Okay, this is an addition. So addition is simple. Okay, for the subtraction is also same. So to subtract decimals, write the numbers so that the decimal points are aligned on a vertical line. And then you do the subtraction as you did when you subtract the whole numbers. So 5.4 minus 1.6832. Okay, this is subtraction, right? So just subtract it. So write it in a vertical line, and then make sure you can put all zeros if you want. Let's put zeros, right? Let's put zeros. Okay, so 0 minus 2. So we're gonna subtract from the last the digit from the right. So 0 minus 2 is not enough. So we will borrow 1, the 10th 1 from the previous digit, still is 0. And then borrow 1 from this one, it's still 0, right? So borrow 1 from here. So this will be 10. And then you borrowed 1 from here. So this becomes 9. And then this becomes now 10, right? 10. Okay, so 10 minus 2 is 8. And 9 minus 3 is 6. 9 minus 8 is 1. And 3 minus 6, not enough, right? Not enough. So borrow 1 from this one. So it will be 4. And this becomes 13, right? 13. So 13 minus 6 is 7. And make sure bring the point down, decimal point. And then 4 minus 1 is 3. So the answer will be 3.7168. So when you subtract, so larger number minus smaller number, so subtract smaller number from the larger number is simple. Just subtract as you do it with whole numbers. Okay, how about the sign? Do you remember the sign rule for adding and subtracting decimal the integers? Yeah, we use the same sign rule for adding, subtracting decimals. Okay, same rule. So look at this number, negative 36 point something plus 54 point something. So you are adding two numbers with different signs. Then what do? We check the absolute value for these two addends, right? So the absolute value of the first one is 36 and the second one is 54. So the second number is larger, right? So we do the subtraction, subtract the smaller absolute value from the larger absolute value. So you can write it. The larger absolute value is 54.29 minus the smaller absolute value. Right? And then what do? So once you subtract these numbers, you attach the sign of the number with the larger absolute value. So the larger absolute value is this one, right? So the sign of the larger absolute value is positive. So the result will be positive in this case. Okay, so let me write this in vertically. I'm going to subtract 36.087. So let's subtract. So let's put zeros here, still okay. So 0 minus 7, so that's not enough. So borrow 1 from 9. So this becomes 10. Right? So 10 minus 7 is 3. 8 minus 8 is 0. 2 minus 0 is 2. Bring the decimal point down. And then 4 minus 6, not enough. So borrow 1 from 5. And this becomes 14. So 14 minus 6 is 8. And then 4 minus 3 is 1. So the answer will be 18.203. How about the sign of this result? Sign is positive because absolute value of 54 is positive. And 54 is larger than 36. Okay, makes sense? Alright, then let's try the next number. Okay, now estimate a number. Estimate. So when you estimate the sum of numbers, we do the same thing. What we'll do is we will round the number to the highest place value first, and then put zeros for other digits, and then add it. Still same. The same as adding whole numbers. So estimate the sum of these two numbers. Sum of these two numbers. Okay, estimate. So you don't have to add each column because we are just estimating. So we will round each number to the highest place value. In this case, 10th, isn't it? The highest is 2. This one, this is 10th, right? This is highest place value. So round to the highest place value. So should I increase this number 2? In this case, no, because the next digit 3 is less than 5. So when you round this number to the nearest highest value, place value is what? 20, right? How about 16.7892? So when you estimate this, you have to round this number to the highest value, highest place value 1. So should I increase this 1 by 1? Yes, because the next digit 6 is greater than or equal to 5. So 1 becomes 2. It becomes 2, so it becomes 20, right? So you can just add up this 20. You can add up 20, 20, so the answer will be 40, right? So the answer will be 40, just an estimate. All right, and then next, okay, now is this number, negative 4.3, a solution of the equation? How do we find out whether this is a solution? Well, just replace the variable b with the given number and then check if the equation is true. So we will check if this equation is true, right? So we will replace b by what? Negative 4.3. So 9.7 minus negative 4.3. B is a negative number, so I will protect the negative number within the parentheses. So this is equal to 9.7 minus and negative, right? Minus and negative. The opposite of this negative is positive. It becomes 4.3. So let's add these two numbers. Okay, 3 and add the 10th digit. So 7 plus 3 is 0, right? 0 and 1 up. So you want to try like this. 9.7 plus 4.3, right? So 7 plus 3 is 0. And decimal point down. So 1 up. So 10 and 4 is 14, right? So this is equal to 14.0. And then let's compare this with 5.4. Is it same? Is it same? No, right? It's not same. So the answer is no. Right now, the number 4.3 is not a solution of the equation. Okay, this is the last example. This is an application example. Okay, this diagram shows the breakdown by age group of hearing impaired Americans. So the age group 0 to 17 has 1.37 million hearing impaired persons. So there are 7 age groups. Okay, the question is, determine whether the number of hearing impaired individuals under the age of 45. So age of 45 is these three groups. Right? These three groups. So these three groups is more or less than the number of hearing impaired who are over the age group of 64. So these two groups are over the age 64. Right? So we just want to find out the number of impaired individuals for the first group and the second group. So we will make the sum of all the numbers for the first group and then the sum of the second group. Then compare those numbers. Alright, so for the age groups under the age of 45 is these three, right? These three. So we will add up these three numbers. Okay, so 1.37. So 1.37 plus 2.77 plus 4.07. And then we will check whether this sum is greater or less than the sum of the last two age group, which is 5.41 and 3.8. 3.8. So let's get the sum of these three and these two. So this will be when you add up this, it looks like 8.21, right? 8.21. Well, if you're not sure, then you can write it in vertically, and then let's add it. Add these three numbers. Alright, so when you add it, 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21. So 2 up. So this will be 5 plus 7 is 2. Okay, 12, right? So 1 up. So 1 plus 1, 2, 4, 8. So 8.21. So this number is 8.21, right? And then the second number, the sum of the second number is, okay, let me write it here, 5.41, 3.80, right? 0. So this is 1 and 12, decimal point, 1 up. So this is 9.21. So this number is 9.21. And then which one is larger? 9.1 is greater, right? 9.1 is greater. Greater, right? Greater. So the number of hearing impaired who are over the age of 64 is larger, larger. In other words, the number of hearing impaired individuals under the age of 45 is now less than, right? Less than. The answer is now, you can write it as less than. Okay, so you can conclude it. The number of hearing impaired individuals under the age of 45 is less than the number of hearing impaired who are over the age of 64. All right, so this is the end of this section, and then please do the exercise. There are a bunch of examples so that you can practice in addition and subtraction of decimal numbers.